Southern Colorado's high-definition news leader. This is News Channel 13, where the news comes first.
We're getting a first look at the Olympic Museum. It's the first building in the City of Champions project when construction is expected to begin.
I believe strongly that all the remaining folks will get better and go home.
Encouraging words from Temple University Hospital. That's where victims of the Amtrak derailment were sent. We have the latest on the search for passengers.
And we are tracking a few storms this afternoon across southern Colorado. I'll show you where the rain is falling and where we're still expecting to see some coming up in my forecast.
Good afternoon and thanks for joining us for News Channel 13 at 4. I'm Rana Novini.
And I'm Rob Namnum. For the first time, we get a close look at what the new U.S. Olympic Museum in Colorado Springs will look like.
It's first at 4 o'clock. This is one of 4 City for Champion projects. The museum will be close to downtown on West Vermejo Street off Sierra Madre. It will include exhibits featuring athlete stories and interactive media. There will also be a restaurant and outdoor plaza.
Well, this is an exciting moment for us because we've worked very hard to get to a point where we could share a visual image of what this museum is likely to look like and what it's like to feel like inside when you visit the exhibits in the museum.
The groundbreaking is scheduled for next spring. Organizers hope to have it open in December 2017 or January 2018. We'll take a closer look at what you can expect when it opens, coming up on News Channel 13 at 5 o'clock. We saw more of the sun today. Nice to see that. And dry so far, but storms are already popping up around southern Colorado.
Speaking of the sun, let's take you outside and give you a live look at Highway 24 and Peterson Road, where it's currently 63 degrees. Rachel, is there rain in the forecast in the next couple of days?
There certainly is. This has just been a rainy time of year for us here in southern Colorado. And speaking of rain, we are tracking some across southern Colorado right now. Let's take you out using your Storm Tracker 13 live HD Doppler radar. And the majority of the storms that we're tracking really along and south of Highway 50 out near Lamar. We are tracking some heavier bursts of rain continuing to slide off toward the north and east this afternoon. We're also still keeping an eye on how much water we have moving over La Junta because flood warnings remain in effect until early tomorrow morning. Flood stage is at 11 feet. Today we've been sitting just over that flood stage. Now with water levels expected to fall overnight again, that flood warning only expected to continue through early tomorrow morning, and then the threat for flooding should drop significantly through the day. We are tracking a few scattered showers up across the high country, but a few storms will be sliding over the I-25 corridor here as we take you through the rest of the afternoon and into this evening. So while not everybody is going to get rain, could still see a few sprinkles for Colorado Springs and Pueblo. So don't think just because you haven't seen any rain yet that you're in the clear for the night. Temperatures outside currently at 67 degrees in Colorado Springs. We're sitting at 74 in Pueblo with temperatures in the mid to upper 70s for the lower Arkansas River Valley. 69 degrees is your high temperature rate, or your current temperature in Trinidad. As we take you through the rest of the night, we'll fall into the 50s by 9 o'clock. We'll still be in the 40s and 50s though by midnight, so relatively mild temperatures are expected. We'll have partly to mostly cloudy skies through tonight and into early tomorrow morning. Tomorrow we'll have a better chance of getting even more rain across southern Colorado. I'll let you know when those showers will push into your part of the state. I'll also have your weekend forecast coming up in just a little bit. Robin Rana, back to you.
All right, thank you, Rachel. A man shot 5 times by Canyon City police is incompetent to stand trial, according to a psychiatric evaluation.
And this is a testimony that I am sharing with you that I received from my Lord Allah and from my God Allah, that I am Jesus.
Hudson Clark is in Department of Human Services custody. You may remember when this happened in December, Clark's family members called police saying they were worried about him and believed that he was mentally disturbed. Investigators say he made Islamic-type statements before stabbing an officer. The officer then shot Clark. Both men survived. Clark is facing attempted murder charges. He will be back in court August 12th for a competency review hearing.
All of the passengers from the Amtrak train that derailed Tuesday have been accounted for. Take a live look now of the cleanup that's happening there. 8 people died in the crash. Investigators say the train was traveling at 106 miles an hour when it flew off the tracks. That's more than twice the speed limit on that section of the track. The NTSB is focusing on the train's engineer, 32-year-old Brandon Bastian. He's agreed to provide a blood sample and hand over his phone. Bastian says he remembers coming into the curve and trying to slow down, but says he does not recall the actual crash.
More cars are being recalled over faulty airbags. Yesterday, we told you about Toyota and Nissan models that are being recalled. Today, Honda is adding nearly 5 million more cars. It's a Target 13 consumer alert this afternoon. Honda said it's not aware of any injuries caused by faulty airbags in the models involved in the new recall. The recalls over the Takata airbags have ballooned to more than 19 million vehicles for Honda. You can find out if your car is on the recall list at Krdo.com under the Hot button.
1600 Pennsylvania Avenue was on lockdown this afternoon. A man reportedly tried to fly a remote-controlled drone over the White House. Secret Service agents detained that man for questioning. His name hasn't been released. President Obama is currently at Camp David. This is the second incident this year involving a drone at the White House. And a southern Colorado man found a drone in his backyard this week. Ronald Fisk saw it while he was working in his yard on the east side of Colorado Springs. He shared these pictures with us. He says he realized it was a drone, but not one for personal use. A few minutes later, another piece of the drone fell out of his tree, and that's when Fisk noticed there was a camera on it.
It looked very expensive, and I couldn't figure out who owned it, so I wrote my telephone number on a piece of paper because the camera was moving and held it in front of the camera, thinking someone would call me if they wanted it back.
Well, no one called him, so Fisk called police. Turns out the drone is from Fort Carson. This video shows the 3rd Brigade Combat Team operating those drones. Fort Carson officials say it's part of their increased security measures on post. The operator lost control of it and it flew about 10 miles away to Fisk's house. No one was hurt, and Fort Carson says the drone was flying in compliance with all FAA regulations.
Patriots quarterback Tom Brady has formally appealed his 4-game suspension through the NFL's Players Union. On Monday, the NFL suspended Brady for 4 games for his role in underinflated footballs that were used in the AFC Championship game back in January. A lawyer for the Patriots posted a rebuttal online today saying the NFL's investigation dismissed scientific explanation as to why the balls would have lost air. The Patriots also believe that there's no evidence that Brady preferred underinflated football, so stay tuned. Tom Brady does not believe, and the Patriots do not believe he did anything wrong, and they're hoping that he will not be suspended for any games. This appeal, though, may lead to possibly a reduction in his 4-game suspension, possibly 2 games, but still remains to be seen.
Yeah, and we knew this appeal was coming. Today it was just made formal.
And there's also a school of thought, too, that if Brady was really adamant that he would sue the NFL in court, although there was a big talk about why Tom Brady did not hand over his phone to the NFL during the investigation. If it were to go to court, that would be something they would go after, and then that may be revealing. So
it would be an interesting case to see play out.
We already saw the text messages between the equipment guys on the Patriots, and that did not put Tom Brady in a good light.
Doesn't look good.
Colorado Rockies manager Walt Weiss is recovering after an appendectomy last night.
Yeah, Weiss had been dealing with pain this week, had to have his appendix removed. As far as we know, Weiss is still in the hospital, but will be released soon. Former Sky Sox manager and Rockies bench coach Tom Runnels will be in charge while Weiss is away.
The population is growing in Pueblo, but analysts say it's still not enough.
Plus, the recent storms have closed several trails, but that's not stopping some hikers. We'll tell you about the area city crews want you to avoid.
And we do have more storms on the way. For the lower elevations, we'll be tracking rain, but up across the high country, we're expecting snow, and we could see some fairly impressive amounts. The National Weather Service has issued winter storm warnings for the areas in red, winter storm watches for the blue, and winter weather advisories for the areas in white. I'll be tracking what this storm system is going to mean for your weekend, coming up right after the break.
back. Well, starting to warm up a little bit. 60 degrees we can all live with, right, everybody? But we can't get used to it, right, everybody?
Right.
At the class.
I'm waiting for a response. Apparently, I'm doing the show by myself.
I responded.
I heard the viewers say yes, Rob, but I didn't hear it.
They did. Here's a shot from Northgate and Bass Pro Shops. Our Cornerstone camera, one of our newest Weather Network cameras. And Rachel said yesterday with the clouds it wasn't going to feel as warm as 60
she
degrees.
nailed the forecast. I was thinking
always.
about that this morning, Rachel. You're dead on, as always.
Well, not always, but I do my best. Yeah, today is one of those days where technically the temperatures are very warm. However, with the clouds in place, the lack of sunshine, it doesn't really feel like we're in the 60s and 70s across southern Colorado. We're going to keep the clouds around here as we take you through the remainder of the afternoon and into the evening. Here's a look at your skycast. We are expecting the bulk of the showers that we will see throughout the rest of the day to be across the high country and out across the plains. But you'll notice along I-25, could see a few scattered storms moving overhead. That will be the exception rather than the rule, though. Most areas are going to stay dry as we take you through the next couple of hours. Temperatures will be falling into the 40s and 50s tonight, so temperature-wise, not all that bad overnight. Should be very similar to the temperatures that we felt out there last night. High temperatures tomorrow getting back into the 60s and 70s, a slight cool down in comparison to today, only by a handful of degrees. So we'll end up with 66 in Colorado Springs, 71 in Canyon City. We'll hit 75 in Pueblo. Temperatures still getting into the 80s, though, out in Lamar with high temperatures in the 40s and 50s up across the high country. Taking you into tomorrow morning, we are expecting a mixture of clouds and sunshine once again. The clouds will, though, begin to thicken up as they did out there today as we take you into the afternoon. Once again, we'll see the highest concentration of showers and thunderstorms up across the mountain areas. And even though Skycast isn't overly excited about breaking out those storms along the I-25 corridor, we are anticipating the potential to see a few storms, especially late tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow evening, with a few lingering storms south of Highway 50 by about 10 o'clock. So another day where we'll see kind of those hit or miss, run-of-the-mill thunderstorms. We're not anticipating anything in the way of severe weather for your Friday afternoon. We'll keep the chance for storms at 20% tomorrow. Colorado Springs, again, we're hitting 66. We'll cool the temperature even further. We have a cold front that's going to push in some cooler air by Saturday. Your high temperature only at 59 degrees. Should see more clouds and sunshine on Saturday with a 30% chance for storms. It does look like the storms on Saturday likely firing up right around lunchtime, carrying through the afternoon, so keep that in mind as you're planning your weekend. Sunday looking to be the drier and the warmer of the two weekend days. We'll warm the temperature back to 64 degrees before we cool things down. We have a rather potent storm system that's going to move through early next week. Monday, Tuesday looking to be fairly active. Monday night in particular is when we'll start to see those storms picking up, and they'll carry through Tuesday. Tuesday bringing our next chance for severe weather to southern Colorado. In Pueblo tomorrow, 75 degrees. We'll drop it to 67 on Saturday, but we'll end the weekend once again in the 70s. Sunday looking to be the warmer and drier of the 2 days again for Pueblo, so if you are trying to pick which day to maybe take the dog for a walk, do some gardening, Sunday looking to be the winner. 65 degrees on Monday night. The storms roll in. Tuesday looking to be a very active day with, again, the potential for severe weather returning to the state. In Canyon City, 71 tomorrow, 64 on Saturday. Sunday, 69 degrees will be your high temperature, and then we'll get a 30% chance for storms late Monday, and then we'll bump it up to 50% on Tuesday. Tuesday looking to be stormy pretty much from start to finish. So one of those days here in Colorado where we wake up to the rain and we'll go to sleep to the rain. Teller County, 55 degrees tomorrow. And as we take you through the weekend with temperatures overnight hovering right around freezing, it's very likely that we'll see some snow mixed in with the rain, especially up across the higher elevations. At this time, it doesn't look like Teller County will be one of the areas where we'll see significant accumulations, but I showed you that map earlier where it does seem like some of the higher terrain, the ski resort locations, unfortunately most of them being closed, but they should see some decent amounts of snow as we take you through the weekend and into early next week. A Basin's still open though, so good news for them if you still have the skiing and snowboarding itch. I think they should do pretty well this weekend.
There's a few people who still do.
I mean, I feel your pain. So.
Tempting.
It is. It is. They're open till June, I think, which is one of the cool things about this state, where you can go to the pool one day and then head up to the mountains the next day.
Or the same day, really.
Or the same day.
Go down the slopes and jump in the pool.
I mean, who hasn't done that before?
With your skis on?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's what I thought.
They call it pond skimming, I think.
If you're looking for a new home, you know it's a tough market, but it is bouncing back in one southern Colorado city. That's coming up.
Plus, a jury is deciding the consequence for Boston Marathon bomber Johar Sanardia. If it's a life in prison, we'll show you where he may be serving his time.
Welcome back. Promising news for Pueblo. The housing market is bouncing back.
Realtor David Anderson says homes are selling faster and closer to the asking price. He says homes priced between $150,000 to $250,000 are selling the fastest.
We're just waiting for more sellers that are getting out of the negative equity that they've had. And all of a sudden now they're starting to have some equity. So they're coming on the market, but they're getting sold right away.
Anderson says the housing inventory in Pueblo is low right now, which in turn helps the homes on the market sell faster.
Low inventory is driving up demand for developers. One developer tells us most of the new properties he's constructed have been for people moving to Pueblo from outside the area.
Well, the housing market in Pueblo County may be looking good. However, the county is lagging far behind others on the Front Range when it comes to growth.
Douglas County's population has increased by more than 125,000 people since the year 2000. In El Paso County, it's gone up by more than 135,000. But Pueblo County has only seen an increase of about 20,000 people.
KRDO News Channel 13's Michelle San Miguel explains what might lure people to Pueblo and why others are proud to call Pueblo home.
It's lunchtime at Musso's restaurant. Lisa Musso is cooking up the family's signature sausage sandwich. This slice of Italy has been bringing in customers for more than 20 years. Meanwhile, her dad Carl tends to the family farm. The Mussos homesteaded this land around the turn of the 20th century.
You know, my grandfather come here for, I guess, a land of opportunity like everybody else comes here.
Since then, 5 generations of Mussos have called Eastern Pueblo County home.
This is my stomping grounds. I'm a farmer's daughter. I'm proud to be a farmer's daughter.
This was Little Italy at one time. There's a lot of Sicilian people.
But Carl Musso knows the economy has changed that.
The steel mill was the big thing, and then it kind of went down. And if you didn't have something to fall back on, you moved someplace where you could find a job.
I see your IDs.
A job brought Trevor Case to work in western Pueblo County.
You just head over that way and they'll need it as well again.
The growing marijuana industry proved a worthwhile reason to pack up his life in Texas and move to Colorado with his wife and 2 kids.
The cost of living is really manageable here, so that's why we chose Pueblo as our base.
A few weeks ago, Case took a starting position at Marisol Therapeutics in Pueblo West, checking IDs as customers walk through the door. Case says the view of the mountains, outdoor recreation, and marijuana all brought him to Pueblo.
I think I am one of a lot of people that have moved here for that reason.
But Don Vest remembers a time when people were leaving Pueblo because they couldn't find a job. In the 70s and 80s, thousands of people were laid off at the Pueblo Chemical Depot and at the CF&I steel mill.
At one time, Pueblo had almost a 20% unemployment rate.
While that's no longer the case, Vest, who's been studying Pueblo's growth for decades, says the community needs more jobs to attract newcomers.
Population growth is largely dependent upon employment opportunities.
A lack of jobs may have slowed down the growth in the Steel City, but we found many families choose to live here to support what could become the county's 2 most famous crops, Pueblo chilies and marijuana.
This is our home now. We're setting our roots in, we're staying here.
Jose.
5 generations of Mussos later,
Stomping grounds, honey. Just didn't want to leave Pueblo.
the Mussos say they never thought about calling any other place home. In Pueblo County, Michelle San Miguel, KRDO, News Channel 13.
Pueblo County's population is expected to surpass 200,000 people by 2040, according to Don Vest.
It's currently just slightly more than 160,000. Well, people in a California town aren't too happy with their neighbor's pet. It's not that he's too loud, it's what he's saying. That story is next.
What are you doing? It's funny because when the kids argue or somebody's arguing. See?
Welcome back. A hacker for hire website that's drawn criticism from around the world has roots right here in southern Colorado.
Yeah, hackerslist.com is where you can hire a hacker. Users ask hackers to do things like bust a cheating spouse or change their grades on the school server. Other requests include asking to recover a deleted website or a lost Gmail account ID. The man who started it is stepping out of the shadows. He says he wants the world to know he's an ethical hacker focused on legal jobs, and he lives right here in southern Colorado. We'll introduce you to him tonight on Krdo News Channel 13 at 6 o'clock. Walmart is going up against Amazon with a new delivery service that starts this summer.
The shipping subscription service will cost $50 a month, and orders will arrive in 3 days or less. Walmart currently offers grocery delivery and pickup service in large cities. One of the most popular traits of a parrot is the ability to talk.
Yeah, but in a California town, the words coming out of one bird's mouth are not sitting well with some. Krdo News Channel 13's Brittany Bailey explains.
Well, the problem is this parrot seems to be saying a lot more than Polly want a cracker.
Would say grandma, 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 grandpa, grandpa.
But the bird named Rula is saying much more than that. In fact, some neighbors say this parrot is profane, and animal control has been called more than a dozen times. Neighbor Jessica Baca claims the bird has a foul mouth. It has repeatedly said the Spanish word meaning prostitute to her grandchildren.
They were saying, and I said, oh my God, you guys don't say that word.
I think it was saying Rula. I think it was saying its own name, and they just misunderstood.
Have any bilingual staff members? I'm not sure we could confirm that it was cursing.
Rula's owner says the parrot is not bilingual, and for now, that can't be proven otherwise. So while Rula is offensive to some, he's still being allowed to squawk freely, at least for now. Reporting from the Newsplex, Brittany Bailey, Krdo News Channel 13.
Certainly loud.
Yes, he is.
But not bilingual. Or so they say. Maybe he's secretly listening to Spanish television or something.
Yeah.
Picking up some words.
Oh, man. Well, let's take a look at this. If you are not able to watch TV all the time and there's severe weather heading your way, it's okay. We have an idea for you. It's called Weather Call. It's the ultimate storm tracking tool, and what happens is when severe weather impacts your particular address, we will call you and let you know. You can get it by heading over to krdo.com/weather/weathercall and sign up for that service. Definitely something very cool, especially as we are now approaching severe weather season here in southern Colorado. Coming up after the break, I will let you